Welcome to another broadcast of the Competitive Edge. Today, we're going to be looking at a very dynamic topic, which is habits and your business success. One of the things that I'm known for saying is that so, we normally make a saying that, relationship is the mother of all social systems. Subsequent to that, I've also heard that, habits is the master of the universe. And I want to put another one in the pot. Data is vital for your success. So it's an essential habit for you to form. Today, we will do some deep dive into all of those talking points, and perhaps Frank and Paul and Peter would add some more into the mixing pot. So at the end of the day, you have a very clear, at the end of the day, you have a very clear picture in terms of the essential habits that you need to form and to be successful. Now, just before we get started, I want to say that this program comes to you with the kind compliments of the bestseller portal. And I want to encourage you to go to the bestsellerportal.org to learn more about what we are doing. You will get books on business, books on leadership, and guess what else? You can get greetings cards for all occasions. Just go to the bestseller portal, tap on products, navigate the drop down on your left hand side, and you will get books and to really keep you inspired. With that being said, today I have Frank in the studio. I have Paul and Peter. I will ask each party to just give a brief intro of who you are, and then today we'll take a deep dive into our topic, which is habits and business success. I'll start with Frank.
Pleasant good morning to all listeners. My name is Koreman Frank, economist, leadership development, and a lot of hats that can't be explained here. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this program, and I'm hoping that whatever we impart will be readily accepted by you, and that you will not just have the information, but use the information for your benefit. I'm blessed.
All right, thanks for that, Frank. How about Paul?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul Whitehouse, one of two owners of Patriot Business Finance Consultants, and we help your business get the capital that it needs to go forward and grow.
All right, thanks for that share. Peter?
And I am Peter Richard Goscott Sr., and our business is Legacy Chronicles Human Growth Systems, and we empower individuals to get their master plan together.
All right, thanks for that share, Peter. Well, those who might be seeing me for the first time and wondering who is Gary Thompson, I am a private equity investor. I am also the author of multiple books. My last book is Master the Sales Communication Process. To learn more about that book, go to the bestsellerportal.org. Now, having said that, Paul, can you give us an insight into the BFC? What is the BFC all about?
Okay. BFC stands for Business Finance Consultants, which is what I am. And what we have done here at High Net Worth Investors Guide and the Competitive Edge is we want to put together, work with 100 people. If you're interested, then we're interested in you. So what we will do is give you full training, full support, and help you make a lot of money. That's the goal, to make a lot of money. How do you do that? You sell money to businesses. Businesses need capital to go forward, to grow, to expand. What do they need money for? They need money to buy equipment. They need money to buy real estate. They need cash flow programs. They need capital raises to grow and expand. So you probably ask, how do we get that? Do we have it? Nope. We got some of it, but not that much. How do we get it? We've got a wide network of lenders who want to say yes to equipment financing, real estate financing, cash flow, and the best of credit to very difficult credit deals. Everything can be accomplished. And your goal, role, and new career as a business finance consultant would have you providing that to business owners. So this is a very professional, very high paying career. We want 100 people, and we're going to teach them to succeed, teach them to market, teach them to get customers, teach them to be an expert with these finance programs. And let's do it together. Let's make some money together.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul.
Mhm.
So there, your audience, you have learned it. If you are in the U.S., any part of the U.S., 50 states, and you need a new career, and we can help you become a business finance consultant. As Paul would have said, it's a very significant portfolio for anyone to hold, and it's a high paying occupation. All right. So we encourage you to DM us. And so we can start a conversation with you and ensure that in 2024, you're well placed to build wealth for yourself. All right. Having said that, um, I want to get today's program started. They say that you rise and fall on, leadership, you rise and fall on relationship. And I certainly believe that we also rise and fall on habits. So today I want us to talk about habits and business success. And I will start off by giving a brief overview of essential habits that every business leader should have. And the habits that I want to talk about is what is your habits and research looks like. Habits and research. And why research is so important because research helps you to understand the market. It helps you to understand the market viability. It helps you to understand your target market. It helps you to understand their needs and their wants and their expectations. And it is based on having this type of knowledge, you are better positioned to have a successful business and a successful brand. So I just want to leave that out there for food for thoughts. And I will go deeper into this as I expand on what habits and research really has to do with business success. And perhaps I will also put a face to the kind of data, the kind of information that you're collecting with the research and how far it can go to help you in business. So I just put that out there. But I want to now, open up the room. I want to come to Frank. I know Frank may have a number of talking points on habits and business success. So, Frank, can I get to you first, and then I'll come back to Peter, and then Paul. Go ahead, Frank.
All right, thank you. People step foot in the world of business usually possess that something, that quality that makes them daring, makes them fierce, and they're prone to taking intelligent risks. More than having a great product or idea, reading a supporting team that can carry out the vision, the mission, which is basically part of the equation when you talk about business. But personal habits play an essential role. One, in mitigating stress. Two, persevering in challenging times. And for these combination of the two, it can ultimately lead you, your team, and the whole business to success. The habits that we have will shape the way we behave and will also manage our emotional social lives. They're one of the most important secondary factors of our success. And so they have a significant impact in our ability to cope with the stress and or adversity. And one of the most challenging tasks for building habits is making them stick. Once you build your ideal set of habits, it will be easier to strive for professional goals and your sense of inner peace and satisfaction. I have quite a few habits that you can start using, and I consider some of the best habits to have in business. So when it comes to like success of your business, while there may be many factors that you can't control, such as market trends, current demand, fierce competition, there are also many things we can take control of. All personal habits are one of them. And if we build positive, life changing habits that will help us stand out in what you do, it's all completely up to you. And those habits range from completely personal ones, such as your wake up time, the way you spend your leisure time, to habits that are directly connected to your productivity of your work. You must keep in mind, though, that building habits that stick may take time. It requires patience, it requires tolerance to failure, and persistence. As financial and business success doesn't happen overnight, we know that. But before we dive into the habits, let's take a moment to think about how many of these habits we are already practicing. If there are at least two, use them as a groundwork for building your other life changing habits. Since it's much easier to make good habits stick when you incorporate them into an existing system. And let's look at the first one.
All right.
Let's go to bed early so we wake up early. Go to bed early, wake up early. I feel in this a lot of times. I always wake up early, but do I go to bed early? No. There was an old saying. Uh, it comes at me. It says, in other words, what it's saying is that it's early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy,
Well,
and wise. So to excel in business, you need proper focus. The days can get quite chaotic with the phone ringing all the time, people coming in and out of your office, meetings, 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 and that Herculean effort it takes to reach inbox zero. I am going to stop here for now and let the others have a say in their talk about habits. But I have a whole lot of habits that you can follow.
all right. Early to bed, early to rise. And I can't
Makes
recall the whole set, but
sense.
thanks for sharing that, Frank. Um, Today, yes, we're talking about habits and business success. And I do believe that because of sleep, there is where you rejuvenate the melatonin, and the melatonin translate into the daytime neurotransmitters, the serotonin. So there are significance to going to bed early. However, thanks for that share, Frank. I'm going to come now to Peter. What is your take on this topic, my friend? Habits and business success. What are those essential habits that will ultimately lead to success in business?
Well, a part of the habits that will generate business success is to recognize that life is cyclical. The reason why we need in a certain habits, repetitive behavior, is because life is repetitive. Right now, this winter in here in the United States, and for the next, we can expect for the next forever, as long as this lasts, there'll be several winters will always be coming. And after winter comes spring, then summer, then fall, and then winter again. Life is repetitive. So the life has habits. So the successful person has to recognize that there are certain patterns that life presents. And when we align ourselves in our personal life with those patterns, it will bring us success. Because, and then the question is, what is success? Success is really to align ourselves with the systems of life, utilize the rules or the laws that governs life. And when we exercise or align ourselves with the laws that governs life, those laws will respond to us, will reciprocate to us the benefits that goes with obedience to those laws. And when I say laws, now I'm not talking about human rules. I'm talking about universal laws that supports the sustainment of life itself, and how the universe is governed. So the first set of habits that individual has to have is to recognize that life is a system of habits.
All right, thanks for that share. And Peter, universal laws and life is a system of habits. We'll talk more about that in a few. Paul, how do you relate to this topic?
Okay. Systems and habits equal consistency. Okay. Good systems and bad systems exist. So do bad systems and bad habits exist. Okay. I don't mean to make it so simple, but it is simple. So get good habits for systems for get good habits and systems to grow your business and your life. And the good part about that is you don't have to sit and think about it forever. All you got to do is look around, talk to people. I mean, it's obvious. As Frank said, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy and wise. Well, there it is. We know it. So do it. Okay. I give better advice than I take because I don't do it. I get up
Mhm.
early, obviously, but that's because of the show. Otherwise, I'm the 9:30, 10 o'clock. I don't wake up at that time, but I work till like late at night type of guy. But all of these excellent habits for business and life already exist. You already inherently know them. You learned them from your parents or your aunts or your uncles or your grandparents. Somebody out there has been an example for you. And we don't have to invent the wheel right all over again.
Right.
They're out there. So, and as Frank said, it's hard. It might be hard to get into them, but how do you get from here to there? If you have to walk, you take one step, put it in front of the other, and just keep on doing that over and over. So do the same thing with habits.
All right, thanks for your share. Um, Today, what I'm doing, I'm asking you guys just to give your perspective, but perhaps the next time we do this program, I'm going to put more pointed questions as it relates to the subject itself. But I want to throw out some other thoughts as it relates to habits. I do believe that essential habits for any corporate leaders to form is habits that really helps them to understand how you impact the team. Because to be successful in business is not only for you to figure out how to cash flow optimize, because if you have a demotivated workforce and you don't have healthy habits around impacting your workforce in a positive way, it's going to significantly undermine the long term success of that business. I do believe that there should be habits along the line of impacting the ideal client. Because if the focus again is just on making that sale, you may make the sale, but if you don't have an impact strategy where the customer experience that aha moment when they make the first purchase with you, you're not going to have repeat sales. So there need to be healthy habits around how you impact, the ideal client. And what we can also look at, if you guys decide to go this way, is what would it take to impact your uh, your team dynamics, and what would it take to impact, um, you know, your ideal client? It takes information. So I think healthy habits has to be formed along these lines to really help businesses to push forward in success. In fact, we see that when healthy habits are not formed here, it really sets that stage to undermine even the potential of that business to be successful. Because from the one of the barriers that most businesses has to break through is that know, like, and trust factor. And if you have habits already that is demonstrating that you don't really care for the customer, you just care for the cash flow, it comes back to hurt you, comes back to bite you. So I'm going to pause here for now, and just to have you guys throw out some of your own thoughts on the importance of habits and how it influences business failure or success. Who wants to go?
I, I
Frank?
heard I heard a friend said something that quite intriguing, and
Uh-huh.
it's so true that the ideal self, or the ideal self goals, that it is connected to goals. The ideal self, and I want to just shift it with to say that the ideal self is connected to practices, right? So and a habit is repetitive behavior. So with the question that an individual can ask is the goal, or the as whatever they're aspiring for, what are the things or what are the practices that needs to be done to get to become that person? Because for instance, if we just look at, just pick one profession, a doctor. A doctor is an individual that, what is a doctor is just an individual who understand medical laws that support the biological functions of the body, and so they discipline themselves to know that body of knowledge. So they practice, or have developed habits. And you are talking here. You're speaking about information and data. So a doctor is just a person who captures all the data, all the historical data of how biology function, and they adapt themselves to that. That can be broadened to just about any subject matter. And when we align ourselves with that through data, understanding data, the laws or the principles, universal laws that governs those end results, then we will flow. We'll gain the success that we're looking for.
And the thing about it, you really raised a very important point, Peter. You see, when we develop good habits, it's crucial for success in not just a business but life,
Yeah.
because they provide a range of benefits that can enhance productivity, enhance efficiency, your well-being, and your overall success. The business success stems from how successful you are personally. If you're sickly, it affects your business. It affects productivity. It affects the way you communicate or relate with your teams. And so it's important for businesses to realize that your personal habits affect your business habits. Whatever you come with in your personal life is going to affect the business. If you want increased productivity, it can help you manage your time effectively and focus on important tasks. For example, if you establish a habit of creating a to-do list, prioritizing tasks can boost your productivity by ensuring that you complete the most crucial activities first. Both improve health and well-being then. Habits such as regular exercise, eating nutritious meals, getting enough sleep contribute to improve physical and mental well-being. By incorporating these habits into your daily routine, you can enhance your energy levels, you can reduce stress, you can improve your overall health. That's my
All right.
input. Just
All right.
yeah.
Thanks for that share. Thanks for that share, Frank. You mentioned a lot of things there, habits around exercise and rest, and I think all of those things are essential habits for us to have to keep the engine of productivity working smoothly. It begins with you. But of course, as we progress, we may take each of the subject that we're looking at over a period of time and do a deep dive into each one of them for us to fully examine, examine them. Paul, what is your take on what Frank, myself, and Peter would have said?
I don't know if they'll be add anything new to it, but I think a habit is a standard operating procedure, and success and failure both require habits. So choose which one
Hmm.
you would rather do. What habits would you rather have? And I don't think bad habits require any more effort than good habits. Just put yourself there, train yourself to do it, and you'll automatically start doing it.
Hmm.
The initial training period, you got to muscle through that
Right.
to instill those habits in yourself. But once you do it, I think it kind of goes on automatic pilot. So I think that life habits are first, and business habits result from your life habits. You don't have a business if you don't have a life. A life. I mean, that's an obvious thing. But every habit that you have in life is going to result in what you do in business. So sharpen your habits, make them good. Your business reflects your life, and the, there's a way to do it. You can pull this off. Get good habits. Just start doing it right now. It's not complicated. Not much. Everything in the world. I guess some things are complicated, like supercomputers or whatever. But what we're talking about right here, I don't think it's complicated. Make the choice and do it. Wake up in the morning, make your bed, brush your teeth. Brushing your teeth is a habit. It's simple. Everybody does that. Just amp it up a little bit more with some, professional habits. You got this.
Good. I like that. I mean, although brushing your teeth is so simple, it's essential because you don't want to go among friends, your teeth and brush, and they get in that feedback. It's
Feedback.
definitely bad.
Feedback's funny. Feedback. Feedback. Your breath
Feedback.
stinks.
I think that's one of
Yeah,
the reasons. That's one of the reasons why we have sprays and gums and mint.
I got you. But I want to push the ceiling a little bit here. I had a conversation only yesterday with a very iconic personality, a young female but dynamic business owner. And after the conversation, I sum up something, or during the conversation, I sum up that we need to have habits around what I call change mitigation. All right, habits around change mitigation. But let me also say why I'm saying this, because one of the topics that we had, is the reluctance of business owners to invest in staff development. Um, so let me walk through this because we are seeing that a lot of business owners they have some reluctance in staff development because of the absenteeism turnover that is taking place. So let me walk you through a couple of things. We are seeing today that many businesses are somewhat hesitant to invest in training. Why? Because may be high, and two, the turnover rate may also be high. So because of that, you find that there's a reluctance to train or make the kind of solid investment into staff development, because you're going to put monies into training them and then they're going to shift over to your competition. So your competition now has your intel because they have the staff. Now, is this good or is this bad? And how does this affect the organization? It affects the organization in many different ways. But the reason I mention uh, challenge mitigation is because that's a major challenge. And one, if the business do the training, they are likely to win. If they do the training and lose their staff, they most likely can lose if they do not continue training. But the point that I want to come at here very quickly, one of the habits that is necessary to succeed in business is to perhaps do that diagnostic, again, data. Do that research into why you may be having either absenteeism and turnover, because absenteeism and rapid turnover affects the growth of that business. It affects it. We have done some research into why this is happening, and we believe the absence of the data itself, it's not necessarily a healthy habit for businesses. You need to know why you're having absenteeism, why you're having turnover. There's an exit interview that we normally talk about, but sometimes the exit, you have to know how to go deep into it. Now, today I'm not going to give a whole lot of data on the research, but you business leaders, you need to form habits that is helping you to understand reasons why a staff would leave you and move to another company. And once you start to figure these things out, which we have figured out and we have built a thesis on this, it means now that you can incorporate this new data into the corporate culture. And that most likely will set the stage to reverse the absenteeism, reverse the turnover, and help the organization to maintain its brain power with the human resources. So I just want to point that out a little bit. At another date, we're going to go into what the research is that we are doing and how that research can help business owners to attain more longer retention with their employees. That's just a little bit that I want to share there now. Um, but let's go on. We're talking today about habits that you should have, habits and business success. I love to hear from anyone. But just before we go back to habits, Paul, can you talk to us a little bit about some of the financial instruments that you have? Because also, I don't want that to get lost in translation. On this platform, we help businesses to access capital. If you're in the US, you can get access to debt, equity, credit, hard money lending, creative financing. And Paul will give us a little walkthrough what that really looks like. Paul?
Okay. Well, equipment financing, real estate financing, commercial and investment. Look, those are the programs. But let's talk about this today. Difficult credit. If you're hearing this show and you don't think you can be approved, you are approved. Okay. Um, it's not hopeless. If you've been declined by your bank, all of the finance programs that we offer, which are equipment financing for your business, commercial and investment real estate, those, those require credit scores, obviously. But to sum it up, it's simple. The better the credit score, the lower the cost of money, the better deal structure, and the better term. Difficult credit scores can be approved. You need to be approved to grow your business. No matter what the scenario is, doesn't matter. You still need the equipment to double your business. Even if the cost of money is more expensive because of the scenario, you still need it. You can't give up and not get it or grow your business because of that obstacle. And that obstacle can be repaired. Make the payments on time. 2, 3 years down the road, you're gold. You don't have to worry about big chunks of money down to get approved.
Hmm.
So, and then there are programs that don't worry about it. They don't care about your business credit or your personal credit score. They care about your customer's credit score or a payment history, Paydex score. So that would be factoring, selling your accounts receivable for cash flow. Your accounts receivable are possibly your business's greatest asset. It's a bunch of money that people owe you because you've already delivered the product or service. All that money is waiting for pay me in 30 days because that's what's on your invoice when you do business to business sales. So you can tap into that. If cash flow is slow, then you can sell your accounts receivable for 97 or typically cost of that is 1.75% of the invoice up to 3 points on the invoice. And that depends on your volume commitment to the factoring company. If you're only going to do $100,000 a year in business, it's going to be 3 points. That's 97 cents on the dollar. If you commit to $1 million a year in receivables that you're going to sell, then cost of money goes down because of volume. But that type of finance program, they're not concerned about your company's Paydex score or your personal score. They're concerned about your client and how well they pay. Purchase order financing, same thing. Um, yeah, so credit's important, but don't let the fear of not getting approved stop you. If it was last month, they said no to the new semi truck that you wanted. Well, that was them saying no. Okay. We can provide yes to you. Are there terms and conditions attached to that yes? Of course there are. And I know that you would expect that because it just makes sense. If you got a little bit of a damage score, it's America. It ain't easy sometimes. So nobody holds judgment. It's just what happens. I think there's probably 2% of the population who go, I don't know, maybe it's a little higher, who the golden ones who go through and never have a hiccup in their life. But a lot of other people do have hiccups. And especially if you're in business, you're going to have some hiccups. Expect it, but overcome it. So, yeah, we'll get you approved. Difficult credit, don't let that stop you. And equipment financing, if you need equipment, and I know that you do, let's get it for you. You need real estate, or you need to reduce cost of real estate or pull cash out, let's do that. And we're ready to go to work for you. Our lenders are ready to say yes. They're not there to say no. Nobody makes money by saying no to a deal. So we will find ways to make it happen for you.
All right, thanks for that share,
Hmm.
um, Paul. Now, I want to chime in a little bit to what Paul is saying, but just before chiming in, I want to just put this to Peter. Peter, in your field of master planning, can you identify what are essential master plan tools and strategies and techniques that is essential for success in business? Um, we would have lost Frank there also. He had to deal with some issues. But I want you to think about that, um, Peter. And before I come back to Paul, also, I want you to also think about capital and the significant role habits around money that can really help businesses to attain their competitive edge. Now, where I want to chime in by saying that on our platform is we are not only looking at helping you to access capital. On our platform, we help you to understand financial instruments and the best financial instruments for you based on where you're at in terms of your business experience. Once you understand the financial instruments and you're now able to access, you're now able to select the type of financial instrument that is best for you. We then work with you to access the capital. But of course, accessing the capital is only the second foot, the second step that you need to understand. We also work with you to ensure that you understand smart capital leverage. Before you start to leverage capital, you want to understand your markets and to be certain that you're going to be able to get a significant return so your investment doesn't become a liability. The fourth aspect and final aspect that I will talk about today is capital or debt mitigation. As a rising star in business, you need to form habits around all of these things. What is your habits in terms of debt mitigation? And I'm saying to you, if you don't have healthy habits around debt mitigation, the possibility exists that you're not just leaving the crumbs on the table or a slice of cake on the table, you may be leaving close to half of that cake on the table, largely because you haven't formed healthy habits around money. So I'm going to come now to Peter. And can you talk to us a little bit about the master plan and what elements of the master plan and habits around those master plan that can help businesses to be more successful in what they're doing? All
Well,
to you, Peter.
yeah, the issue of business where the master plan programs are concerned is, and I heard you were alluding to it earlier about um, the rate of staff turnover, and my thought was went along line with that because there has to be some kind of an alignment with individuals part of a company's staff, the alignment of their goals and their aspirations as part of the overall operation of the company or business is being operated. And what we do find is that where there's a disconnect between the employees and the overall goal of that company, then that is where there is going to be disconnects between the customer that those business the customer for that business. So as you mentioned that the data is important, and I believe it was just yesterday we were having a discussion with our team that in our getting businesses to understand that when they invest in or create those habits, those the habit of investing into their staff, and the staff will feel that this business has a habit of investing in their development, because just as how there is a personality to business, right? Even the business itself has a personality. So what happens is just as though an individual has to take care of their personal life, mastering their personal life, the business itself has to have a personal life of taking care of itself as well. And in the business taking care of itself, then it means the systems that cause the business to succeed, which is the staff, because it is a staff that carries out or connects with the customers that makes the business worthwhile. So those kinds of habits where there is a connection and there is a practice, a mode of operation where it becomes the culture of the business to support the staff in certain ways. And there's a lot of issues that has to be understood to know what works with who. But when those dynamics are in place and the staff feels as if they are not just a clog, they are not just a some kind of disconnected, disjointed point. If they feel that way, they're going to communicate that message to their customer. But when they feel a part of the business, the rate of turnover will certainly be less. And there are habits, as you mentioned, Gary, that must be practiced, a part of the culture of the business for that to be disseminated on a daily basis. And I hope that will add some value to the persons listening in regards to the question you ask. You're muted.
All right. Good points. So we're looking at staff motivation and master plan. And staff motivation can mean a lot of things. It can be perhaps having uh, a gym at the workplace. And Frank spoke earlier about how exercise help in keeping you energized. It may also relate to short and long term benefits, which they call fringe benefits. What are your habits around these things? Um, it can go into a lot of things. Today, I'm not going to go deep into the face of what a new corporate culture will look like, but in the next broadcast, perhaps we will go much, much, much deeper into habits and business success, where we will put a face to what a new corporate culture will look like. And I'm just going to give a hint today. We often talk about a new corporate culture should look at things like what we call the corporate cash flow protection program. And this basically looks at how to protect the business cash flow um, in a crisis situation, like we just come out of a pandemic. Do we need to have healthy habits around this, and what does this look like? We can also look at corporate paycheck protection, where every employee feels as though they have job security and income security. And what does habits look like in relation to this? And there are many other tools that we're going to be talking about. But of course, today is just to basically give that overview of how deep this particular subject is. I'm not going to give the face of it today. I'm not going to go deep into that, but perhaps next week or following this program, we can do that deep dive into essential habits that should be formed to keep the organization going. I just want to say this quickly, just before coming to Paul. Forming these habits, especially when it comes to looking at, corporate, paycheck protection and, corporate cash flow protection program, it may sound as just capital intensive, but again, when you're working with financial experts who understand how to navigate the world of finance, we're saying that it don't necessarily have to cost you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a liability to you. It can be an asset. And as time progresses, perhaps either on this program or privately, we will be talking about what habits, healthy habits, can look like as it relates to, the corporate cash flow protection program. So the next time you have a global pandemic, you have some cash security. Along with that, the staff may have that job security and income security. Just a hint on what is to come. Paul, can you swing into habits around money that is so important to help businesses to be successful?
Definitely. Can I throw one comment on what Peter put out there first?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay. Full training and workforce development. You're saying at the beginning of the show, you said people shy away from that because they don't want to invest into somebody, and then that person leaves. Guess what? Super surprise. Nobody stays forever. Your goal is to keep your staff retention, absolutely, but nobody has 100% of it. It just doesn't work that way. So don't worry. Invest into workforce development. Don't worry about the ones that you're going to lose along the way. That is unavoidable. It's unavoidable. Okay. Circumstances, nobody stays forever. Instead, build a business machine that is so strong that it doesn't matter. It's so strong. It's like the mountain. You cannot stop it. You can't beat it down. It's going to be there.
Huh?
If you build it to that level, and you can only build that to that level with a fully trained workforce that has continuing training, continuing education. I mean, if you're running a pizza shop, you don't need to do that. There's not a whole lot of workforce development. Treat them good, pay them well, let them know you love them and care for them. That works. But if you've got a sales team, you need continuing education. You need it.
Mm-hmm.
You build that machine and it'll sustain anything. So don't be petty, don't be cheap, invest. And habits are related to this. With what I just said right there, what habits are there of the business owner? If he's afraid that his people, if he's so afraid that his people are going to leave him and share his trade secrets, and all the training that he's invested to them is going to go to his competitor, if you're so afraid of that, you have a habit of being afraid.
Mm.
Better stop it because fear doesn't help anything.
Yeah, but you're right, Paul. But I also believe that data can help him to eliminate the fear. I think that there are genuine reasons to be fearful, but once you have the data as to why people are leaving, I believe that you can create the environment within the organization, part of the corporate culture that can help you to reverse that. We're going to go deeper into it because I think it's a very sensitive issue, and the wrong habits uh, will cause you to fail. Because I mean, I buy into what you're saying. You need to train. It's a vital part of your business because you have to acclimatize and continue the training process. Um, but I know the fear is training and losing. Why are you losing? If you know why you're losing, you can reverse the process. There are things in the corporate culture that can be corrected. Perhaps you need to form new habits around those things to help hemorrhaging, losing your best trained staff.
I'll push back on the word fear. If you're
Mhm.
facing an escaped lion or tiger or a serial killer, you should have a little bit of fear, but you need to act on. You need to bypass the fear. If you get so fearful, you're going to freeze. Break the freeze. Don't be. We're in business. We're not out there hunting lions without rifles. That's fearful. And you
Mhm.
hit the nail right on the head, Gary. It's if you have the data and the information, you can see the path. You can see the straight path. It doesn't, So, but okay. So to your original question, habits relating to money, save some money, invest some money. Don't be tight with it. Help people with it. It comes back to you. It does. You're not giving it away. You're investing it in somebody else. Even if you're not getting a return on it, your return is that you got to help that person. So habits related to money, spend it wisely, look for good deals. Don't look for cheap deals. Look for quality. Whatever you do, what if you're buying a jacket, look for quality, don't buy cheap. If you are investing into a workforce training development system and you're choosing who's, what team you're going to hire to train your team, okay, don't be cheap. Don't go for the cheapest thing. People have a habit of being cheap, looking for the lowest cost. Yes, look for the lowest cost, but also make sure that the quality of whatever you're receiving matches the price that you're putting into it.
Yeah, in terms of real estate, I would always say that don't buy because it's cheap. Buy because it makes financial sense.
Good point.
What comes cheap may not have the value. It may come with a lot of noose around the neck. So
Yes.
that's a great point. All right. I know today what we did. We talked very broadly about habits. To our audience, it might appear as though there wasn't a straight line, but I want to say that was with intention. That was with design. So all we looked at today is essential habits that uh, business leaders want to think about if you want to be successful. And over a period of time, what we will do, we'll take each of those habits and we will build upon them one by one. So I just wanted to throw that as being part of the design today. Frank would have talked about the importance of rest and sleep. Um, is it necessary to have good sleep? Yes, it is. Is it necessary? All the things that we talk about today, I think it's vital, essential habits for us to pause a little bit, take each one of them and really blow them up and to see the significance in each one of them. And over a period of time, we will do that. Um, Now, I want us to look at, well, we're going to be wrapping up now. So it's just for us to give our closing remarks. And I want to thank the audience from across the world who would have chimed into today's program. I begin this program by looking at the importance of data. A healthy habit for you to have in business is data. And with data, you can make better, smarter, and business decision. I didn't go deep into what is data, again, by design. And over a period of time, we will go much deeper into what is data analytics and how to use data to help to drive your business success and forward. But closing remarks, I'll come to Peter, and then I'll come back to Paul. I'll ask Paul to talk to us some more about the financial instruments and then give us his closing remarks. Peter, all to you now.
Yeah, I start with just let our audience know that we appreciate the time that they spend with us as well, and the practices or habits and the basis that I would extend to individuals listening to this program and habits is that they should make a habit of understanding what life is. Study, and you mentioned, so it's important for us to study what life is. If most people go through life on a default, whatever comes to them, they just respond to that. So make an habit of research, of understanding what life is, because it is when we understand what life is, the system and the principles that goes into life, and we align ourselves with those principles, that is where success begins. And so what we would want, I just want to give just a scenario that life comes in seasons. Basic life, as always see, as I started out, there is winter, spring, summer, and fall. Within the capacity of our personal lives, we will graduate through life through three dimensions as well. There is personal, there is family, there is the community, and there's a corporate set of principles by which all three are governed. And when we understand and we make it an intention to, and we may pay attention to understand how each operate, then it has it's like a gear. Once you exhaust the first gear, automatically it needs to go into the second gear, into the third, and we just accelerate after that. So when we understand at a basic level how personal life operates, because it is just transcend into the family dimension, which transcend into the community dimension, which transcend into the corporate dimension. So when we make a habit of understanding how life operates, and we start with the very basics, it will gradually take us, accelerate us into the higher dimensions that we are aspiring for.
Hmm.
Habits of understanding life, and one of those, habits I think is essential is to recognize that we're all in the world, and everyone wants to achieve, you know, feel as though they're achieving, success. Even the lower level employees. So
Mm.
it's a habit to be conscious of that, aware of that, and perhaps responsive to that. Great points. Great points. Paul, talk to us some more about financial instruments, and love to have your closing remarks.
Okay. Closing remarks. What Peter said. Boom. Can't top it. Exactly what Peter said. So I love it. First, second, third, accelerate. That's the natural order. I wrote that down, Peter. I'm going to use that somewhere, sometime at the right time. And the right time's coming. Okay. I mean, I think we overcomplicate things. People, good habit. Here's your choice. On the left, choose good habits. On the right, choose bad habits. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it because is it hard to go out and like do all these good habits after you've been had bad habits your entire lifetime? Okay, maybe, but realistically, no. Do it. Do it, and just do it. One step in front of the other. Pick what is going to be good for you. Don't drink a gallon. I've got friends who do this. I got a lot of wide variety of friends. Don't drink yourself to death every night. That's a bad habit, obviously, right? Choose health. As Frank said, get up early. The choice is so clear. There's good things that we can do for ourselves and our family, and there's bad things. So whatever you've got to do, whatever change has got to happen, and I can't tell you how to do it. I can give you some ideas, but break it right now today. Just throw all the old stuff away, take in the new stuff, work on it. Maybe it's going to be hard, but if you keep working on it, there's things that are more difficult, and more difficult is a lifetime of bad habits resulting in, I like what Frank said the other day, not retiring with dignity. A life, think about those consequences, not retiring with dignity. So good habits are going to prevent that. Put good habits into effect. It's not hard, and the results will amaze you. And to talk about our financing, I'll just give one real life example to illustrate why hiring professionals is a benefit for you because of their experience. So, and how we look for, you know, the best outcome for you. Patriot Business Finance Consultants, when we do a job for you, you're going to get the best outcome. So, one real world, real life customer contacted me months ago and said, wants a line of credit. Okay. Her bank told her she could get a line of credit for a large amount. And right off the go, 2 seconds into it, I knew that that wasn't going to be the case because lines of credit are reserved for businesses that have time in business. Startups do not get a line of credit. Doesn't happen. Okay. And then what do you use a line of credit for? Why would you get a line of credit? What are the risks associated with having a line of credit? Here's one. They can be called in. Every year there's an annual review if you have a line of credit. And if the performance of your company has, sunken a little bit, went below where they need it to be at, they can call that debt in and you've got to pay it. You got to come up with the cash. Well, what if I already spent it? Doesn't matter. Pay us. I can't do it. Doesn't matter. Pay us. They don't
Mm.
care. Okay. So, just like everything, you use a hammer to drive nails. You don't use a line of credit to buy equipment. That's not the purpose of it.
So, and Paul,
So,
not pausing, not cutting you. So when they call that in, I guess you don't have the funds. You have to file bankruptcy, and then that's going to affect your FICO for perhaps the next 7 years.
Yeah, there's all types of problems. So,
Yeah.
and that
All right.
results from you want to use the right tool. She wanted to use the line of credit to buy equipment. That's not the right tool. That's not the right result. It's more expensive. So, equipment leasing is the way to do that. Um, there's so many examples. I mean, we could talk for in depth on all the finance programs we've got available, Gary, for all the listeners. But that's one of them. And I guess I told that story to illustrate the effort that we're going to put in, and our experience allows us to know what direction to take you with what you're trying to get accomplished, and know what the wrong direction to go is as well. If you're already on that path, we're going to say, no, that doesn't make sense. Or if you already made a mistake like that, we're going to try to help you reverse it if possible. But yeah, across the board, to sum it up, what we can do for business owners is any industry, any state, any credit, any equipment, any financing, we got you covered under the best circumstances and the lowest cost of money. That's our job, is to make that happen for you.
Gary, if I could just chime into what Paul was mentioning about the finances, because in our world of personal life planning, we want people to understand that there is the business of life, right? There is the business of life, and understanding how money works. And one of the habits that I discovered that, 75% or 80% of the populace do not understand is how money works, and the habits that has to be formed around money. And that is why we find people, even like the individual that you mentioned, and what you're saying, Gary, about data, understanding the information surrounding the use of money and financial instruments. So she was going to get a financial instrument that was not aligned with the end result that she was looking for. So the whole understanding the business success, the business of personal life, and then we're speaking about credit, because a lot of individuals has no clue, especially here in the United States, how credit work, and that credit is how the United States is the financials, the transaction is built on credit, not on cash. It is built on credit. And when you do not understand how to practice, how to the habits how credit operate, people are going to constantly be in trouble and don't know why it is happening. Going back to what you're saying again, Gary, let me close with this again. When you talk about companies not having the data of why they are losing their employees on a personal level, why am I not making my monthly um, uh, 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 obligations so that I can get to that end? And all of this, is about the habits of, and I would love to hear more about, and I think a ton of individuals are out there to know about the habits surrounding money and credit, and how they can manage credit and manage money on a day by day basis, and why we need this. Because I have individuals, they don't understand the business of life. And if they can break down to understand how money works and the habits that surrounds money, it would make a tremendous difference.
All right, Peter, you will have a chance to talk about habits and money tomorrow, because that's our topic tomorrow. Money, money, money. All right. For the viewing audience, I want to thank you for taking the time out for being with us today. Today, we talked about habits and business success. I promise you that the next time we bring this topic, we will focus on a single topic, and we'll do that deep dive into what habits and business success can really look like. Be with us tomorrow. Tomorrow we talk about habits and money, and I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. You need to come out, call a friend, tell a friend that the competitive edge is on, and they're talking about money, money. All right, so be blessed and see you guys tomorrow.